Connection. Hi guys, it's Alisa here, and I am going to do something new while we're all at home. Once a week, I'm going to invite a guest and we're going to have a little conversation about what's going on in each other's families and what we're doing and while we're self-isolating and being really conscious about what's happening with COVID-19. So today I have my friend Kristy Wolfe. Kristy is a photographer and she is out in Canmore, Alberta. Hey Kristy, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
I'm good. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
So I'm a medical mom. I was an educator until we moved to Canmore. So for the last 4 years, I've been teaching grade 1. And prior to that, I taught kids with learning disabilities. I have 2 kids, one of which was a NICU kiddo, has had a couple heart surgeries. So we've been in the medical world fairly consistently. And then when Kane was little, I started taking photographs for families at Ronald McDonald House as kind of a way to give back from our hospital experience, and it's led into a lot of photography stuff and storytelling photography, which is, I don't know, it's just doing its own thing right now.
It's fantastic. I love it. And I like seeing what you're doing. And you have a new little project that has come about that when we talk about things that are positive that are going on right now, there's a really cool initiative that started. Where did the girl that started, where did that start from?
Somewhere in the States. I am not exactly sure. I did read the article. A friend of mine from Edmonton sent it to me. So the Front Steps Project was a photographer in the States, and she just decided, here's the way I can give back. I'm just going to offer to take photos, just 5 to 10 minute session, not getting close, gets out of her car, walks up, lets the family know, and then just takes a few photos and leaves, and just a way to send some positive vibes out into the world right now.
So what Kristy is doing is she's taking pictures of local families. She's not going far, local families. She stays on the sidewalk basically, and is taking pictures of families on their front step and just sort of showing life about what's going on, since so many families are now at home. I don't know that we've ever had so many families all home at the same time. Excuse me. The picture that I saw yesterday that was super cute that stuck out to me was there was a family on the front step and the daughter had her princess costume on. It was so cute.
That was definitely one of my favorites. So she's wearing a princess costume. Her brother's like wearing plaid shirts. Her parents are happy to be doing this. She walks out with that princess dress, but also like an almost life-size stuffed puppy who's also wearing a princess dress. So that picture, she's sitting in the front and the rest of the family is like attacking each other behind and like tickling, and she's just like staring at the camera and everything's going on behind her. And those are the kind of pictures I love. Like, I wouldn't say that, like, I'm a documentary family storyteller. And so I just follow and just see what's going to happen. And I'm not usually setting people up. So it's unusual for me to be like, okay, let's figure out what you guys should look like together. So when real life is happening on the stairs in front of me or on the porch, it's so much more entertaining.
Which I think is the really cool thing of what you do. Same thing with your photography when you follow a family and whether they're at their medical appointments or whether they're at the hospital, is just showing them and documenting their real life, because it's so real to us when we're experiencing it that we don't have that foresight to sort of keep those memories and to keep that. And that's part of your story. That's your history.
It's huge. So I follow a family here, and it's actually how I met Alisa. Melanie's family. And so we actually did an outdoor session yesterday, just as a way for us both to kind of decompress a little bit. We hadn't really done a session with her whole family. So I'll back it up a little bit. I'm doing a photography, photojournalism class with a woman named Christina Nyborg, and it's called 21 Weeks. And each week she gives us a next piece of a project. And so I had talked to Melanie, and her daughter Ella has Rett syndrome. So I talked to her about following her and just following her family. And so we've done quite a few sessions where at one point I was just at their house. We went and picked up Ella from school. We were skating one day. I went with them to their all-day Rett syndrome clinic appointment in Edmonton. So just telling different parts of the stories. And putting it together has been great for me, but I think for Melanie, it's been a really positive thing as well. And my own personal experience is that we moved to Canmore in September. And at the end of September, Kane had another heart surgery. And we had a photographer, a friend of mine who I'd met at a conference who came up and spent 48 hours with us during Kane's surgery, and she photographed the whole thing. So that experience for me was eye-opening. I'd always photographed the things that were happening for Kane and I, and I'd always written about it and blogged about it. But having somebody else get me in the photos has kind of changed my outlook on how this happens. So I have used those photos a lot. Like, they're not for my husband, or Kane hasn't really seen them much because some of them are pretty graphic, but me working through those photos has been a huge way for me to manage what's happened. And so, yeah, I talked about that, and then when I mentioned this idea to Melanie, she was like, yes, let's do this. And so I can
Well,
see
Melanie
from
is
her
such a,
writing.
she's so good at documenting herself. She's always been a beautiful, like, part-time photographer,
Yeah.
and her writing and her documenting, it's something, Melanie and I have been friends for 30 years now, I think is what I figured out today. But for her to be in the pictures, and it's funny because I look at so many of the pictures of my family and my kids growing up, right? They're 10 and 12. I'm always the one taking the pictures.
Yeah.
It's rare that I'm in the pictures, right? And
Yes.
so I'm sure we're not the only ones, and that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Go.
What are you doing to help your own mental health? Because right now, during this time where we're all at home, it's a lot. We have a lot to figure out of what's going on in the world that can overtake us. Plus, we are suddenly homeschooling when, even teacher or not,
It's not fun.
homeschooling and teaching your kids is a whole other thing and a whole
Yeah.
other issue. You're now, everybody's at home, or it's just, and you can't go out. You can't be doing stuff. So what are you doing to help yourself balance as a mom?
Yeah. So, quite a few things, I'd say. I'm very like routine, consistency. There's a lot of things like that that are important to me. So Kane is my 7-year-old and Maverick is 5. Kane's in grade 1. He's a bit behind in school too, so that's also concerning. And then Maverick is in pre-kindergarten. So right from the get-go, like the Monday that school was canceled, I'm like, here's the schedule. Every day we're going to do a bit of schoolwork. Every day we're getting outside, like just setting a routine and an expectation. But that's not just for them, that's for me too. I pretend I get up at 7. I usually get up at 7:15, and I do some yoga first thing, like, because I know I'm not going to do it later in the day. I'm going to get dragged down by something. So I'm really consciously doing some yoga every day. Whereas before I would have gone out and done like a group fitness class. I am just trying to find a way that I can stay consistent on those things. Having some time in the morning with the kids where we're working on some school stuff, and I do have a lot of experience with it, so it's pretty easy for me to pull some things together. But I started a YouTube channel because why not do that right now? And so it's kind of geared to suddenly homeschooling. So I'm just doing really quick videos about like a quick activity you could do with younger, like school-aged kids. It's kind of, I've thrown in some parenting stuff because we're doing some parenting coaching through a group called the Strongest Families Institute. And so that's just helping me to keep on track about staying really positive with the kids and what to focus on, because as a teacher, yeah, I can go and educate other people's kids. I love it. Doing my own is never something I wanted to do.
It is not the same. I always
No.
say that I was never like, I love my children dearly and I love all my time with them and we're very involved with them. I was not meant to homeschool them. And
No.
that's for their benefit as much as mine. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yep.
just feel, but that's what we're doing. I know for us, our goal is to get outside. We're actually letting the kids sleep in a little bit longer,
Yep.
but not too much. And then we're making sure there has to be reading and math every day. We're doing a lot of baking. A lot of life skills are happening right now. A lot of
Yeah.
baking and cooking. Right now they're painting bird houses that my daughter and my husband actually built and designed together. So Andy and Emily right now are painting bird houses. But I also know I'm trying to give myself forgiveness if we don't go right on schedule.
Yep.
Like, and
Oh,
not worry about
100%.
it. Like, I have goals. I don't necessarily have timelines, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
I
I
am
think
being
that,
strict on bedtime though.
yes,
That's for me.
yes. And I think like my focus too is literacy and numeracy. each day one kid is picking something they want to learn a little bit about. Today, Maverick is the leader of the pack. And so he decided he wanted to learn about Blue Jays. So we found some books about Blue Jays on
Okay.
Epic Kids. So like just finding some stuff online, using what we have at home. But yeah, if things don't happen, the only one that I'm really like set on is the get outside. But it is a fight every single day. Like, I don't know why I
Oh,
have to fight them so hard on just getting out of our house. It's
Andy is
unbelievable.
convinced he doesn't want to do anything except for his iPad.
Yeah.
And he will protest. And actually, I think I shared it. The first day that we had him walk from our house to the park when we could still go to the park, um, he screamed the whole way. And it took us like 25 minutes to do a 10-minute walk.
Oh
And I
God.
probably owe an apology to every neighbor,
Yep.
even the ones I don't know. But you know what? That's just part of it, because you have to push them past their comfort zone, because the thing is, that is what we have to do. Same thing. He totally protested when my husband said it was time to paint. Painting is one of his favorite things.
Yep.
It's just trying to make sure that not just the kids, but us too, we don't fall into that inertia of, I don't want to do anything but lie on the couch.
Yep. Yep. And I know that about myself. Like once I start going into that direction, it happens all the time. Like I have to be busy and I have to be committed to things so that I'm moving forward. And so you were talking about the self-care piece, and part of it is that Front Steps project. Like I am booking families 3 or 4 times a week right now. And so I know tonight I have 4 families I'm going to go hit, like one after the other. It's pretty quick, but it gives me something to look forward to because I really miss the face-to-face connection. So I just hop in my car, pull up, text them I'm here, they pop out, we say hey from far away and take some pictures and then move on. But that piece is huge. Yeah.
Oh, it's such a different life right now. We had our doorbell ring today. That was weird. Our doorbell rang. And it was interesting because it was actually a neighbor. We have several backyards that back onto our backyards. It was a neighbor much farther who we don't know very well. And they had lost a football in our backyard. But it was so interesting how much that had changed, because they rang our bell. And then, of course, they step all the way back to
Yeah.
make sure that they're talking right. And so I have to say, most people are being so respectful, which is a really nice change to see. I know for myself, one of the things I'm doing is I'm limiting how much time I'm watching information. I'm staying informed, but I'm also timing myself I give myself 5 minutes. When the premier or when a prime minister go on, I listen for the first 5 minutes and then I have to shut it down.
Yeah.
Do you have anything like that you're doing for yourself?
Yeah. And I think like there's a group here in Canmore that they started like on Facebook, and it has lots of positive things that are posted, but the comments are where it gets really negative very quickly. And so I've just stopped reading comments for the most part. And so I'm kind of putting content out, but being really careful about what I'm reading. So I wrote a blog for today about what our time looks like right now. And I'll be writing one about 21 weeks. So I'm still doing the things that I was already doing. So still planning my time around like sharing some of the photography and some of the stories that we're working on, but really being conscious about what I take in from other people right now and who I take it in from. You very quickly figure out who's going to be positive about things and try and put a little light out there, and who is just going to take it the other direction. And so
They're your energy suckers,
yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
they drain you, and it's not beneficial. I mean, there's no doubt this is a stressful time. There's real things to be stressed about. You just have a choice of what your lens is and what you do.
yeah.
And I think there's only so many things in your control. What about your boys? What do they think of this right now?
I think they're stoked to be home.
Mhm.
They are definitely starting to get at each other. Like the first week was good. The second week was hard, but I think it was harder for me. Like I think I was having a really hard time with it. So then it was just like coming across everywhere. And now I've been like, okay, you know what? If you accomplish nothing, that's okay. And if you just sit down and do a puzzle with the boys, that's good too. So like just recognizing that I'm not going to be as busy as I was, and I don't need to do everything I was doing before, and just like let it go right now. Yeah, so I think for the most part, they're really enjoying it. They also get more screen time. Like everything we're learning about is kind of pulled from online. They love that part of it. So we've really had to work in like, okay, if we go outside, that's 2 tally marks, and 10 tally marks is 20 minutes of free choice time on the iPad. But I'm also super nerdy as a grade 1 teacher, so I have like brain food apps and junk food apps, and brain food is more than junk food, just the way we eat. Like we talk about that kind of stuff too. And then just making them aware of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and just choosing and deciding. I did that with my daughter today. She did her math app, and which is Dreambox for us right now. And she did it for a while, and then you get to earn coins and you actually get to play games. And I was like, hey, wait a minute,
Yep.
get back to the activities. You can play the coins at the end, right? Like, no, this is learning time. This is working time. But
Yeah, there is all of the apps now are doing that. We use like, there was quite a few that I used in my school already that I really liked. So Raz Kids for
yes,
reading. Mathletics is a paid for one, and some schools do it and some schools don't. So that one's really amazing. For younger kids, Starfall, you can do free stuff
yes,
from
that is an
Starfall.
Andy favorite.
Yeah, and the AGA, what's that? The Khan Academy Kids is a free
Yes.
one that's really good again for younger kids though. So that's who I'm thinking more of
So
when I'm thinking.
Dreambox that we're using for math right now actually is typically a paid one, but it's 3 months free right now.
Nice.
And it's phenomenal. It actually, you go by grade level, and say there were, I don't know, 6 pillars of math. If they're better at one area than another, that one area will keep getting harder. So until it's at the level that they need. So
Oh,
say for
nice.
example, numeracy, they're really strong at, but geometry, they're not.
Yeah.
It will actually self-adjust depending on each pillar.
Oh, that's awesome and
I know.
huge.
That was a
Like,
teacher friend that got us into that. And
yeah.
actually our school did it for a long time. So it was exciting to see it was
Oh,
freeware.
perfect. And once it, like when kids already know how to run something, that just makes it so much easier. Um,
Yes.
yeah. So I mean, we're figuring it out, and we have to like. Yesterday, my husband was like, "Kids, we're going to the store to get a candy." And I was like, you can't bribe on the one day that you're taking the kids out. I got to take them out every day, and you're going to pull the bribe out on the one day. So I'm finding there's so many little things that we're having to rework. Like, okay, that's not working. We got to find a new plan, or I'm going to lose my mind. And when I lose my mind, that's bad news.
When mom is not okay, nobody's okay. That
Exactly.
is absolutely the rule. No, definitely. Well, Kristy, thank you so much. You know I love watching what you do, and I will make sure to share all your information if people want to see your videos that you're posting and your photography and your porch project and everything that's going on. So
And
thank you.
honestly, if you are looking to be entertained, we've done a couple like Facebook Live reads of books with my kids, and they say the most ridiculous things. Like oh my, it's full educator who's not parenting well.
But you know what? I don't think that's a bad thing, because I tell you, sometimes we have to give ourselves a break, because I think like it's great. All these families are at home. I know my husband, your husband, they're both still working, which I guess in a lot of ways we're fortunate, but at the same time, it's a different balance.
Yeah.
We are both trying to continue running businesses while we have the kids home full time at the same time, which changes how our business is working right now. So sometimes you have to give yourself forgiveness. You know what my win was? 2 nights ago, Andy woke up, I think from about 1:30 on, he consistently woke up throughout the night and just had a really bad night's sleep, which meant we had a really bad night's sleep. My success was last night, I got him into bed and we made sure we started the bedtime routine about an hour before it was even bedtime. We got to have a really long bath and have fun and play. I got his probiotics. My success was he had a great night's sleep, which meant I had a great
Yeah.
night's sleep.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm really cool that that is my win as a parent, because I think that's something we have to give ourselves forgiveness on. Wins don't have to be that we followed our perfect schedule. And maybe it's that we get to go to the store for a candy, but perhaps not every day.
It did backfire a little bit because they were worse after. Like,
Well, and now he'll know not
just
to do
saying.
that next
Just
weekend,
saying.
right? You will now have
Oh,
that
funny.
information. But, live and learn.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
good to talk to you.
All right. I look forward to always being in touch and learning more.
Sounds
Talk to you
good.
later. Bye-bye.
Bye.